Coming up on Hoosier Sports Night, Tyra Buss becomes the first woman in IU history to reach 2,000 career points, leading the team to a road win against Michigan State.
And the IU wrestling team drops a nail-biter against Michigan State. This is Hoosier Sports Night. Welcome to Hoosier Sports Night. I'm Michael Tilka.
And I'm Mary Kate Hamilton. Congratulations are in order to Tyra Buss, who became the first player in IU women's basketball history to score 2,000 career points. Our women's basketball beat reporter Austin Render gives us the backstory of Tyra Buss's career.
This past Saturday was another historic moment for IU's Tyra Buss. After she scored her 8th point of the evening, she became the first IU women's basketball player to ever eclipse 2,000 points in her career. Tyra ended up with 28 points and 7 assists in the win.
It's hard to, quantify the impact that she's had, on our team. It's just there wouldn't be enough words. As I said, I've never met a more fierce competitor than T. And that's what you want. That's what you want your leader to be. You want your best player to be your hardest worker. And she's accomplished that in her 4 years.
It's pretty special what I've done here. And like I said, I came here to be a program changer. I wanted to help build the program up to what it's supposed to be and what it deserves to be. It's my senior year, and I wanted to go out strong. And so, I've just worked really, really hard my whole life, and I'm just really proud of myself, and my hard work has shown that it's really paying off.
Everyone sees what Tyra does on the court each and every game, but it's her work off the court and even her work before she stepped on campus that has shaped who Tyra Buss truly is.
So even though they're a lot older, I still always wanted to play, outside basketball games with them and their friends. And some of the time they wouldn't let me, but a lot of the time they would. And, the only rule was that I couldn't cry, regardless. No matter what happened, if I got pushed down, nothing, that was the only rule, was I couldn't go crying back to my mom and dad. And I think that's really what, has toughened me up, and, I just took it.
I just think she's relentless. I think she's a true competitor. That's what that's how I describe her. Like I said, I've never met, and it doesn't have to be basketball. It could be anything. We could be over at our house or my house, playing a board game, and she's just as competitive. That's just how she's wired.
Tyra Buss has capped off her amazing career at Indiana, averaging 20 points and nearly 5 assists per game this season. Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Austin Render.
The Hoosiers continue their homestand this weekend in Game 2 of a 4-game stretch when they host Rutgers on Saturday at 1 o'clock at Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall.
The Indiana men's basketball team picked up a big win Monday night against Maryland. One of their star players was questionable entering the game with an ankle injury, but that didn't stop him against the Terrapins. IUS TV men's basketball beat reporter Zan Piarli has the story.
Forward Juwan Morgan was questionable entering tonight's game after injuring his ankle last time out against Michigan State. With a quick turnaround between games, Morgan didn't practice at all on Saturday or Sunday, but the ankle wasn't an issue Monday night versus Maryland.
The first day, I was in a lot of pain. I didn't think I was going to be able to play, but just continuous treatment and being in here with the training staff and just getting all the things I needed to get done. It started to feel good, and it kind of hurt not being able to practice because the guys were going hard in practice, and so it was the least I could do going out here tonight, just to give it my all.
Morgan finished with the team high 25 points on 10 of 18 shooting and was an all-around player tonight, adding 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks, and 2 steals as well.
He showed improvement on Saturday, didn't practice. Tim thought maybe some walking, non-contact stuff yesterday would have been apparent. I didn't want him to do that. We held him out again. And then figuring that, a full other round of treatments today that we would know by game time. And, Juwan said he felt pretty good. So obviously he played like it.
While Morgan is important every night, the most crucial play he made tonight against Maryland was with 36 seconds left. Josh Newkirk missed a pair of free throws, but Juwan, the janitor Morgan, was there to clean up the mess.
I kind of thought it was about to roll in, and I jumped before it came out. And then by the time I came back down, it was coming off. And I knew I had enough time to get off the ground before, I think it was number 10, who was blocking me out. And I just reached over him, got it, and it was wide open.
Although the win against Maryland was huge for Indiana Wednesday night, they faltered on the road, losing 73-71 at Illinois. Zan Pierley joins us in studio now to talk about what went wrong against the Illini.
Thanks, Michael. We are here with our very own IUS TV basketball beat reporter, Zan Pierley. And Zan, we're just going to dive right into it. What went wrong against the last ranked team in the conference this past Wednesday?
Well, Indiana lost to Illinois 73-71, and it was because they missed their free throws. Indiana went 16 of 29 from the free throw line, Mary Kate, and in a game that was decided by 2 points, if you miss 13 free throws, that's pretty much the moral of the story. And Indiana did turn the ball over 18 times and allowed 22 points off those turnovers to the Illini, but that was kind of expected going into the game because Illinois is a very good defensive team, 7th in the nation, forcing 18 turnovers a game, so they got that 18 turnovers. But if you just execute at the free throw line, that's what it really comes down to, and they didn't. So.
And you mentioned those free throws. It has been a struggle for IU all season. They're shooting 66% from the free throw line. What do you think has contributed to this struggle?
You know, I'm not really sure what exactly has contributed because you see teams in the past, it's not like they're bad free throw shooting teams. And these guys, although they are shooting not that great from beyond the arc, they're still good shooters. And especially when you're there at the free throw line, then there's no one guarding you. So I think right now it's all mental. And I think Archie said after the Illinois game that right now it's a little bit contagious. Whenever one guy misses a free throw, it kind of gets the other guys down on themselves. So it's just kind of running through the team right now. And it's all mental part of the game. But the moral of the story is you have to be able to knock down those free throws, and they're not right now. They're second to last in the conference in free throw shooting, and that's really hurting them.
Looking forward to this Sunday, IU faces the top-ranked team in the conference and, of course, a Hoosier rival, Purdue. Do you think IU has any kind of chance against Purdue this weekend?
They only have a chance because they're at home, but even then they have a very, very, very slim chance. And that's because Purdue just has great size and down low, starting with Isaac Haas, 7'2", and then guess what? On the bench, they have another guy that's 7'3". So I wouldn't be surprised if they just had Isaac Haas come in and start, and then Matt Harms on the bench come in and replace him, and then that way Indiana has to guard a guy that's over 7'2" for 40 minutes. And with Indiana right now without Deron Davis, they don't have the bodies to necessarily do that, so it's going to be really tough. And even outside of Isaac Haas and Matt Harms, they have some really talented players. Vince Edwards is playing on another level right now. He's another big body that they're going to have to contain. Dakota Mathias, he's a sharp three-point shooter. And even Carson Edwards, whenever he's going, he's got that backcourt going, and he's really the leader of this team right now.
And lastly, Zan, do you think this loss against Illinois has completely destroyed IU's chance to be in the NCAA tournament, or do you think there's still a little bit of a shot?
Unless they beat Purdue, Ohio State, and Michigan State all coming up, yeah, I think it did. And it's really unfortunate because things were trending upward. You saw the 3 wins in a row, and then they went to Michigan State. They lost by 28. That was tough. But then they came back and beat Maryland at home, a team that is expected to be in the tournament. And then you go on the road to Illinois. I know it's a quick turnaround. You only have 2 days to get ready, but you have to win that game. And it's plain and simple. So really, the missed free throws, I think it may have hurt them at getting a chance to go to the NCAA tournament.
All right, Zan, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Now back to you, Michael.
The MLS Super Draft was last Friday, where IU's own Mason Toye was selected number 7 overall by Minnesota United. Here's a look back at the fabulous freshman season Toye had in the Cream and Crimson.
Number 8, Mason Toye.
And with the 7th pick of the first round of the 2018 MLS Super Draft, Minnesota United select from Indiana University and a member of Generation Adidas, forward Mason Toye.
Toy's presence will be missed in Bloomington as he led the Hoosiers in scoring last year with 10 goals.
The Indiana wrestling team faced off against the Michigan State Spartans last Friday, and Michael Tilka was there to catch the action.
To start the duel off at 125 pounds, Indiana's Elijah Oliver got the Hoosiers to an early 3-0 lead after a highly competitive match with Michigan State's Rayvon Foley, in which Oliver won by decision. 2 bouts later at 141 pounds, IU's Cole Weaver was able to pick up Indiana's third consecutive decision of the match against Michigan State's Javier Gasca. Weaver, a Michigan native, also nabbed his 20th victory on the season. Sparty would recover from a 9-0 deficit in the following 6 matches and tie things up 15-15 heading into the final match at 285 pounds. Indiana's Fletcher Miller was unable to snag the Hoosiers' first Big Ten victory of the season as he lost by decision to Michigan State's Christian Ribotero, making it a final score of Michigan State 18, Indiana 15. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Michael Tilka.
The Hoosiers will look for that first Big Ten win this weekend as they head to Madison to face the Wisconsin Badgers on Friday, January 26th, and then to Lincoln to duel the Nebraska Cornhuskers on Sunday, January 28th.
While the big sporting event this weekend is Purdue versus Indiana this weekend at Assembly Hall, there is still plenty of other sports going on this weekend in Bloomington.
Here are the events you can get to start earning your Crimson Guard reward points.
When Hoosier Sports Night continues, the Marching 100 Band has a new 30,000 square foot home.
And both the men's and women's swim and dive teams had a successful weekend against rival Purdue. This is Hoosier Sports Night.
Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. The Marching 100 is a perennial fan favorite, and they hope their new facility will bring them to the next level. Let our own Mary Kate Hamilton show you around.
Since 1983, Indiana's beloved Marching 100 has been housed in various temporary rehearsal spaces. Now, after over 30 years, the Marching 100 finally has a place to call home, right here at the Ray E. Kramer Marching 100 Hall. The 30,000 square foot, $10 million facility is located just south of Assembly Hall and Memorial Stadium on the campus's northern end. The building, named for Ray E. Kramer, former director of the Marching 100, features a large rehearsal hall and 2 smaller rehearsal spaces, along with instrument and uniform storage as well as repair space. Marching 100 director Dave Woodley said this project was a long time coming.
We've always had an idea that we would love to have a facility just for the Marching 100. And several years ago, we started a fundraising campaign in the Department of Bands for this building. And through generous support of many different donors, a couple years ago, we had enough money that the university would allow us to start planning and building this facility. So it's been about 50 years.
Today, the Marching 100 is comprised of nearly 300 musicians, and while they'll be practicing all year round, we will have to wait until next fall to see them perform at the next home football game. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Mary Kate Hamilton.
For more information on joining the Marching 100, you can visit marching100.org.
The seniors certainly showed off on Senior Day with a dominant win against rival Purdue in front of a packed crowd. IUS TV beat reporter Drew Fry has the story on the swim and dives meet this past weekend.
It was standing room only by the time the first race began as the men's and women's swim and dive teams faced off against arch rival Purdue. In what was the senior class's last home meet, the Hoosiers brought everything they had as they completed a sweep of the Boilermakers. The women earned a solid victory with a score of 176 to 123, while the men absolutely destroyed Purdue 206 to 92.
You know, my hat's off to our senior class. They swam exceptionally well across the board, like they have all 4 years, and this is their last chance to swim in front of their fans and their parents and their loved ones, and just a credit to their leadership and passion for our program.
IU got production from several non-seniors, of course. Junior swimmers Lily King, Vinnie Lanza, and Ian Finnerty, along with junior diver Jessica Parado, were among the usual suspects who picked up 2 wins apiece. Freshman Gabriel Fantoni also impressed with 2 wins himself. These performances did not go unnoticed as the Hoosiers prepare for the Big Ten tournament.
I saw some good things today, some really good hard racing, and I think we prepared ourselves in a good way for Big Ten.
The emphasis of the day, though, was on the senior class. Senior swimmers Ali Kalafala and Ali Rocket both picked up 2 wins apiece, while Blake Pironi, Rachel Matsumura, and Oliver Petrauch also helped the Hoosiers' cause with a win. In diving, Hickson not only won his event, but managed to break the Indiana dual meet record.
Yeah, last swim meet ever for me, so it's pretty special to see today. Like I said, a lot of energy and so much fun to be today.
With their wins, the women improved to 4-4 on the season, while the men extend their dual meet win streak to 21 in a row, including an 8-0 record this season. From IUS TV Sports, I'm Drew Fry.
The Hoosiers will be back in the pool Friday on the road against Louisville in a battle of top 15 teams.
The Indiana water polo team began their season last weekend, and IUS TV's Jeffrey Matthews has the recap.
Indiana's water polo team started their season last weekend when they traveled to Santa Barbara, California to take part in the UCSB Winter Invite, where they faced 3 top 25 opponents in China's senior national team. The Hoosiers came out of the tournament 2-2 with a lot of upside to look forward to in the upcoming year. The Hoosiers have an experienced group returning that includes all 7 starters from a year ago, led the way by 2 honorable mention All-Americans Kelly Matthews and Molly Williams. IU also has 5 returning seniors, starting with goalkeeper Jessica Goodrow, defenders Kelly Matthews and Sarah Myers, followed by attackers Jennifer Beadle and Sarah Young. Second-year head coach Ryan Castle has a team ranked 13th in the nation to begin the year, with expectations only to increase.
The goal is always the same. Our goal is always to beat Michigan. Our goal is always to win a conference championship, and our goal is to eventually win a national championship. Even if we accomplish all those 3 goals, the day after the national championship, we restart that. That's the life of a coach. You're never happy for more than 24 hours.
IU will get to play 10 games in Bloomington compared to the 4 they played at home last year, allowing more family and fans the opportunity to watch the Hoosiers compete.
It's so nice playing home matches. I know a lot of families can come to the home games. I know the Beatles have a large support group, so it's just nice being at IU and having all your fans around you, so it's really nice.
Indiana will host the Hoosier Invite this weekend and yet again play 4 games in 2 days. For IUS TV, I'm Jeffrey Matthews.
Indiana will hold their home opener this weekend as they host the Hoosier Invite with matches against Toronto and UC Santa Barbara on Saturday, January 27th, and against Iona and McKendree on Sunday, January 28th. While it may be the offseason for the Indiana football team, it doesn't mean that they have slowed down at all. Our own Meredith Struwing sits down with IUS TV football beat reporter Joe Canner to give us an update on the team.
Thanks, Michael, and thanks for coming in tonight to talk with us, Joe. It seems that the new year has already brought some changes to the IU football team. Can you tell me how the new hires of the football team have an impact on the team this season?
Absolutely, Meredith. IU football made a couple massive moves in the offseason, in particular the hiring of new strength coach Dave Ballou. This is a guy that's done it before. He's built bigger, stronger, faster players up in South Bend at the University of Notre Dame, and that's something Tom Allen has put an emphasis on this offseason, is getting his players to the next level. Now, in the case of linebackers coach Kane Womack, this is a guy that's going to have his work cut out for him. He's losing the heart of Indiana's defense last season. Big guys like Tigre Scales, Chris Covington, gaps at the linebacker position that are going to need to be filled in. So we'll see right away. The proof will be in the pudding if that was a good hire.
And you talked about new positions needed to be filled. What kind of impact do you think that the new recruits and or transfers have on next year's team?
Well, they're going to have a big impact because this is going to be a team with a lot of turnover. In particular, I think the biggest impact is going to come at that linebacker position from a transfer, not a new recruit. T.D. Roof out of Georgia Tech. This is an undersized guy coming in from Georgia Tech, where he was playing at his father's alma mater. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's going to have big shoes to fill. But if he's able to do it successfully, IU's going to be most thankful that he's here to help him out.
And any challenges that the new recruits are facing especially?
Dave Ballou. Dave Ballou is going to be that new challenge for him. When I interviewed the new recruits, they all said the same thing. Got to get bigger, but maintain our speed. So that's going to be the thing they're working on the most in between now and the spring game, is building up 20, 30, in some cases 40 pounds, but maintaining the speed that they were recruited for.
And with a new year comes maybe some changes in coaching. Do you think Tom Allen has any things that he wants to place an emphasis on in particular?
Well, Tom Allen's always got something he wants to place emphasis on. This year, the emphasis is finish, coming off of breakthrough from last year. The Hoosiers had a couple bright spots, but struggled down the stretch. Maybe many would argue they weren't able to break through last season, but they were close in a lot of close contests against top 25 teams. They weren't able to get those wins down the stretch, but Tom Allen has made it clear they're going to finish this year.
And that quarterback spot is open. So who, in your opinion, do you think has a chance to nab it?
Well, anyone's got a chance. It's an open competition going into the spring. The incumbent obviously is going to be Peyton Ramsey. He got significant playing time last season. But look out. Nick Tronti was wowing people last camp. We'll see if he can take the next step. He was former Mr. Football in the state of Florida. They've also got the Mr. Football in the state of Indiana coming in as a recruit. So a lot of spots open, but I would expect Peyton Ramsey to have a significant chance to maintain his hold on the starting job.
And lastly, as IU fans, what can we expect from the Hoosiers next season?
Well, we can expect them to take that next step. Tom Allen has been clear that's what his mission is. He wants to get significant wins over those top 25 teams and return to a bowl game. So if that's what he's saying is the expectation, that is the expectation for Hoosier fans next season.
And we will definitely be cheering them on, Joe. Thanks again for coming in to give us an inside look about IU football.
No problem.
And fans, don't forget to mark your calendars for the annual IU Cream and Crimson football game that will take place on Saturday, April 14th at Memorial Stadium. Kickoff will be at noon. Back to you, Michael.
It may be their off-season, but the Indiana women's soccer team has announced their 2018 spring schedule. The Hoosiers will take on in-state foes Butler, Evansville, and Notre Dame, along with St. Louis, Western Kentucky, and Middle Tennessee between February, March, and April. They'll host a pair of games at Grand Park in Westfield, Indiana, as well as 2 games right here in Bloomington. The Hoosiers will take the pitch for the first time on February 24th when they take on Butler at Grand Park.
This Saturday, the Indiana women's tennis team is back in action as they host a dual match against Xavier and Cincinnati. For the preview of the matches, here's IUS-TV women's beat reporter Spencer Aber.
After coming off 2 victories last Saturday, the Indiana women's tennis team moves on as they face Xavier and Cincinnati. Last week, the team looked very impressive as they only dropped 1 match total between the 2 matches against Western Michigan and Butler. They showed head coach Ramiro Azcori that they have what he is looking for this season: depth. As they head into next week, Azcori expects much tougher competition.
This week you got Cincinnati and Xavier. What do you expect out of those 2 teams?
You know, it is going to be a dogfight on both. I probably should have not scheduled because I think both teams are very even. When I just said that I normally schedule a stronger and a little weaker team, both of them are going to be extremely hard. I think we're going to need to be able to play really well at the level that we play against the Western Michigan and both matches.
Reporting for IUS-TV Sports, I'm Spencer Aber.
The matches will begin at 10:30 and 4 o'clock. For more updates on those matches this Saturday, make sure to follow IUS-TV Sports on Twitter.
Continuing our coverage of home events this past weekend, reporter Lydia Knoll brings us an update on track and field.
The Hoosiers hosted the Gladstein Invitational this past weekend right here in Bloomington. Andrew Miller once again broke his own school record in the weight throw, beating his previous record that he set last weekend by nearly 5 inches. Nicaea Ford won the women's weight throw and David Shaw won the men's shot put. In addition to these field events, the Hoosiers also dominated on the track, bringing home several blue ribbons in both the men's and women's events. On the men's side, the Hoosiers swept the 3,000-meter fast section, won the 600 meter, the 800 meter, the 200 meter, and the 4x4. Derek Grimmer won the 200 meter for the Hoosiers, while he also participated on the first place 4x4 relay team. Looking to the women's side of things, the Indiana swept the female 3,000 meter as well, led by Catherine Receiver. Adding to the cream and crimson accolades, the women won the 200, the 600, the 4x400 meter relay, the 4x800 meter relay, and the long jump. Junior Kelsey Harris finished first in the 600 and competed on the winning 4x800 meter relay team. Next up for the Hoosiers is the Indiana University Relays, held right here in Bloomington next weekend. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Lydia Knoll.
Be sure to stop by this weekend to cheer on Indiana. It's been a busy week in Hoosier athletics, with teams taking to the court, pool, and track across the country. Here's a look back at the week that was.
It was a tough stretch for us at that time. And like I said, give our guys credit, they bounced right back.
We just knew that we had to get stopped. We knew we had to turn it around. We all knew what we had to do, and we got it done.
That does it for our show this week, but don't forget to like our page IUS TV Sports on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUS TV Sports. For Michael Tilka, I'm Mary Kate Hamilton, and we'll see you next week.